Good morning and welcome everybody. We're super excited to be here. I'm Laurel Daniels and here we have
Mark Martin. How's everybody doing?
Yes, we're excited to be with you guys today. This little segment is just a live Q&A, but specifically on our recertified machines.
Yes, we do get a lot of questions on recertified.
Yeah, so we're very excited to be able to take this opportunity to hopefully help answer all, if not most of those questions you guys have. And again, as this is live as well, I'd encourage you guys, please feel free to put those comments in, any questions you guys have. We're here and we want to take the time to help answer those. So
yeah,
really excited for it here.
Yeah, and this is a segment that we've been wanting to do for a long time because we get a lot of questions on the recertified machines. And so one thing with recertified machines is it doesn't take away from the value or the process or the screens, the buttons, everything is the same as a brand new machine.
Yes, which is like, that's crazy. Think about that, right? I love, people always ask like, well, I don't know, is it going to be good? Is it not? And it is, it's going to work beautifully for you. And I think one of the best parts about it, and we'll get into it, but is on the cost of it, right? It's a really lower way cost to get into a quilting machine, but really wonderful warranty that come with them as well. Still,
yes.
So.
And because we're live, just we got some like, oh, I want one so bad.
Yes.
Right? And so as we talk about this is going to want to, you're going to want to get one just from the price. And again, you're not sacrificing from a new to a recertified. We get recertifieds for many different, for many different ways. From classrooms, we use them in classrooms. People trade up.
Yeah, I know. That's a big thing because people say, well, first off, we can kind of back it up and say, what is recertified mean?
What is, yeah.
Right. And really what it is something that's already been used, and that's what Mark was saying, in different circumstances it may have been used in. Sometimes it is in a classroom that we have here, so maybe a few different people may have used it. Other times it could be one person that said, hey, I'm starting down here and I'm ready to go all the way up, right? So that's when they simply are trading in their machine. So it's never that there's anything necessarily wrong with the machines. Oftentimes it's just something that's been used a little bit.
Yep. And so good, I'm going to take this as a question. What it is, I heard the 16 will fit the pinnacle frame. So we're talking about even older frames.
Right.
And so some of our older frames, it will fit up to a 16. Some of them will fit to a 19. Like I would say our Continuum 1, not really an older frame. It is, because now we have the Continuum 2. But yeah, depending on what frame you have, then you can get the machine on the size. But on the pinnacle frame, you can do a 16 on the pinnacle frame.
Yeah, biggest difference is part of the reason the other ones don't fit is the depth adjustability on those frames. At the time we didn't have larger machines, so they weren't built to fully extend to accommodate that throat space. But that's where the 16s do have that ability to fit on there. So wonderful question. I know another one that came up is financing, which is a fantastic question. It's a good one, I get it often. And yes, you can do financing for it. So it really is just like if you were to do a purchase of a brand new machine, right? We offer financing for that. So we'd offer it for the same type of thing for a recertified machine.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so questions. We already talked about where these come from. So from a classroom we were in, someone trading up, possibly an unboxing where we unbox it and we put it on a frame and we use it. Anytime that we use a machine at all, it becomes what we classified recertified, and they could only have just several stitches on there, so recertified. So there's no. Some of the questions we get is like, does it have any defects on the body if I buy recertified? No, the recertified is, well, I guess if someone turns in their machine traded in, if they had a little maybe scuff on it because they owned it previously, but for the most part, these are no scratches, no dents. The colors are the same as new machines. You're going to find that experience is going to be as if buying a new machine, so it's not going to find any of the dents on there or the scratches.
Exactly. Really, the biggest thing again is that it has been used, right? And people often say, okay, well, how often has it been used? And that's where there is a range and a variety in it, because it could be something, hey, we pulled out like this, right? If we do this, we do use the machine a little bit, but probably not nearly as much if it was from a personal single owner doing quilts on it maybe daily, maybe every other week. So there is just a huge variety of that. But I think one of the wonderful things is before we actually send out a recertified machine, it goes through a whole quality check process.
Yes. Same as a new machine.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
that is what separate. I mean, if you're looking about getting one and wanting one, we go through the same quality control, like Laurel said, on all of our machines.
Which is huge, right? Think about it. That's where people are like, well, I don't know, is it going to work, right? Well, yes,
Yeah.
because we literally test the
it.
machine just like we do a brand new one, and we make sure everything's going to work. I love one thing about it as well, is let's say it is maybe a slightly older machine that someone's had and they're finally trading up. If there's any parts that we may have updated on the machine, they actually will just simply trade out those parts. So it literally is like a brand new machine. You're getting new parts if anything is maybe not working. Even if there is, I know sometimes if it's like, oh, well, this cord, if it's not in at this angle, it's not right, they just give you a new cord, right? They're not gonna be like, oh, they'll figure it out. Like, not brand new, right? Helping you really get the experience of a new machine with it.
So I take that as a lot of them you buy as is.
Right.
Just so we update, which is really nice. There, and it's the level of comfort, we know that when we sell our machines, we want the experience to be the same as you're buying a new or buying a recertified / used machine. The experience will be the same. The warranty, which we'll get into, I think next. I love talking about the warranty is the same. So let's talk about the warranty that comes with the recertified machines.
Yes, I know Regina kind of talked about it as well. So she said, bought one about 6 weeks ago, hasn't quite pulled it out of the box, but they were wondering, hey, the warranty part of it, is that something you still have? And so that's what we'll go into here. So different tiers, but even for recertified, all of them do have a warranty attached to them.
Yep. So we'll start down here by me, where the 16X Elite. This has a 5-year on a new machine, 5-year on a recertified machine.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Exact same.
Mark, you're saying if I buy a new machine or a used one, it's the same warranty?
Same warranty.
Okay.
Same warranty. So,
All right.
same warranty. 19X Elite. What do you think? 5-year warranty new, what would be recertified?
5 years?
5 years.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Actually,
well, that's the X model, right?
yes, the X model. So we have the models, so like the X and the X Elites. Here in front of us, we have the Elites. And so the X Elite is a 10-year warranty. Same with the 21X Elite. So the X Elite on the 21 and 19, 10-year warranty on the recertifieds, 10-year on the used or on the new.
Yeah, absolutely. Great thing. That's where, again, warranty, it's beautiful. Recertified machines, honestly, are the way to go with things because you're getting everything like you would a new machine, right? You're getting the same warranty a new machine would. You're just also getting it at a lower cost, right? So there's no concerns or anything, though, of if I get it, like, oh, I don't know, is it going to work? Or, right, sometimes it is. You take it as it is. So there is some concern behind that. But we really help eliminate any concern that there may be.
Yeah. And they're budget friendly, and so that's where the recertified comes into play. If you're looking at getting a long arm machine, budget friendly machines where you get the same warranty, and so we're not sacrificing, oh, you're buying a used, the warranty is going to be a little different. No, we already talked about the warranty is the same, but the price is different.
Yeah.
The price is different between all of our recertified machines.
Yeah, and maybe if we have a chance, we can kind of show you on our website how you guys can also access these to see what those different pricings are. But you will see, because it is a machine that has been used, it is a lower cost than a brand new machine. So kind of, for example, we have the recertified 16X Elite. You can see it goes for $4,080.
Yep.
That's awesome. Like,
it is
that's
awesome.
crazy.
That is crazy because a new machine is...
You're close to what, 50 something or 5,000 something?
About 5,500 on
the
on the Elite. So you're saving quite a bit. And then if we go to the 19X Elite is 5,789, and that's recertified price. And then we have the 6,450. This is a big one. I love because this is, I mean, the price on the 21 normally is 94.
Yeah.
$94.99. So you're saving a lot on the 21X Elite. So if you already own a frame and the other two fit, great. If you're looking at getting something now, the 21 with one of the new frames, you're saving a lot of money. So $6,450 for the 21 recertified.
Yes, and then again, it is something for a little bit, we didn't have it up on our website. And part of the reason for that is the availability of them, right? We don't always have recertified machines, right? Because it's not like we're always needing to trade out the machine we're using. Sometimes at shows, even if they are, you know, a new machine, sometimes we sell it at the show, right? So it doesn't come back with us. Also, people aren't always trading in, right? Sometimes people are really comfortable with where they're at. So that's where we're really glad to be able to finally have it on the website. But again, it is based on just availability of if it's something we have. So that's where if you're like, hey, I don't know, is this something I'm wanting? You have to keep an eye out to see if there is one like this. You can see it is something available. If not, I believe it just says back ordered, right? So something that we do not have stock on.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so new machines come with a lot of stuff.
Yes.
If you were to buy a recertified machine, do we not send the bobbins? Do we not send some needles with it? Maybe the power cord doesn't come with it. Like, what?
Fend for yourself.
Yeah, get your own. What comes with the recertified machines when you buy a recertified machine?
Great question. It actually comes with everything a new machine would come with. Everything.
Gee whiz. Everything.
Literally everything.
The bobbins, the extra bobbins, the needles, obviously the power cord. Tools.
Yeah, like literally everything
tool.
you would need to assemble the machine, kind of some maintenance things for machines, some extra bobbins and needles, even some thread as well. So it literally is like a new machine you can pull out of the box and start using right away.
Yep. Accessories. I know one of the questions is like automation. So accessories. The accessories are the exact same as well. So you can get any accessories, including the automation, the ruler base, lasers, anything again with the recertifieds.
Yes, absolutely. So you can use it with it. So wonderful question there. And then this one is, do the recertified machines have all the same stitches per minute as the new machines? Yes, they do. This is where, again, it's kind of interesting. But yes, it literally is like a new machine, slightly used at a discounted price. Like, it's fantastic, amazing to be able to use all the accessories with it still. So yes, automation, you can use it with any of them, really 16X and up. So any ones that have a stitch regulator built into it.
Yep.
Can have that work with it.
Yeah, great question. Okay, other questions. We already talked about how they're used. What other questions that possibly come up with recertifieds?
Sometimes people ask, and I think we've already talked on it a little bit, but they say, is there maybe a benefit to buying a recertified over a new? And honestly, it partly comes down to some personal preference on it. I kind of think of it a little bit like a car. Sometimes, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm stepping into a used car. Like, that's the way to go. That's perfect for me. It's going to get me into really what I'm wanting, but I can afford it more, right? Versus some other people are like, you know what? No, I want something brand new, and they love what that is for it. So I don't know necessarily to say that there is a benefit to it or not. It does come in again at a lower cost, but it is, again, because it's used. So I don't know necessarily if there's a right or wrong answer on that. Really more personal preference on it.
Yeah.
So
I would think budget would really come into play on that one
thing.
if you're looking at long arm budget, because they are cost effective on the recertified. Can I get, Laura asked, can I get a recertified machine in a package deal? Absolutely you can.
Yeah.
Okay, recertified in package deal. Again, what's nice about recertifieds is we're not giving up, or you're not sacrificing what the difference is between used. Really, the recertified name is in front of them because they're used, and so you can get the same package deal if you want to package it with the automation and frame, with the ruler base and rear handles. Anything you want to package it with, you can.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of, not necessarily specifically what we're talking about in this segment, but sometimes people are like, oh, well, if you have recertified machines, do you have like maybe a recertified frame? That is something we don't have at this time, so it is just new frames. That being said, if you have a frame you're using, we do offer like a trade-in on that type of a thing. But again, we don't necessarily sell recertified frames. Just recertified machines. So I know that's one occasionally people will get, especially when they're like, oh, well, can I do a combo pricing? And they are trying to get in on that lower cost way. They're like, is there a lower cost frame as well? Which there is, just not necessarily a recertified older frame.
Yeah. One thing that I love about recertified machines is we went over this as well, but they sound, they feel, they stitch the same as new machines. They are cleaned as new machines. We go through them. We talked about it earlier, how we do the QC process. So anything that we do, and so we talk about like the whole car. When you get in like in a car, you're like, oh, it smells so good, or that new car to the used car. So out of the box experience, honestly, you cannot tell that when you open it up that it's recertified, other than when you bought it, that the price tells you it's recertified. So it's really cool that everything is the same, from the buttons to the screens to the threading. to the adjustments, they're all the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of another question, it says, can the different types of hopping feet all fit with the recertified machines? Really great question, because little bit of yes, it also partly depends on maybe when you had purchased your hopping feet set. So I know if it's some like a newer within the last maybe couple years or so, right, there's the opportunity for it too. If not, and it's a little bit older, there's sometimes some extra components that you may need in order to allow it to work. But really, to sum it up, yes, sometimes there's some additional things, sometimes there's not anything needed, right? Am I missing anything on that? Or I think that's it, right?
100%
Okay. Just to make sure I have that correctly there. So awesome. With that as well, I know it's kind of an interesting one is when we talked about lower pricing is people are like, oh, well, is this like a limited time offer or anything? And it isn't really. It just is, again, based on availability. So the pricing of the machine always stands at the cost. It's just a, hey, do we actually have one available to send out to you?
Yeah.
So
yeah, good clarification.
Let's see, just kind of go through and if there's any other questions. I know there is, again, we have pricing up on the website for you guys to be able to see what that looks like, but they said they missed the last sale. You know, is there going to be a new sale coming soon? So I don't know if that's necessarily on recertified machines or on new machines.
Maybe if you can clarify, are you talking about the sale on new or on recertified? Because recertified machines will be at that cost. There's no sale because you're already getting a great deal on that.
Right.
So if we can clarify if that was a new or sell on the new machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so some new machines, I would say, if that is the question, you know, it's on, is yes, our, you know, machines and whatever we have is always kind of changing in pricing. That being said, if there is something that you're like, oh, I want now, do it now because it probably won't go on sale for it. And if it does, it won't probably be the price that it's at.
Yeah.
But clarified.
Yep.
Yeah.
So on recertified. So the great thing is if you think about it, they're always on sale in a way because they're not at full new price. And so yes, the prices range anywhere from $33.95 from our X on the 16 all the way up to the $64.50 to our 21X Elite. And so again, those are great prices. The recertifieds, if you think about it, some may say, oh, it's on sale, but it's that best price on the recertified machines. Right,
exactly, yeah. So that's where, again, not necessarily a promotional sale, but it is always at that discounted rate. And again, stand to always be at that discounted rate for everybody. So great question.
Eileen, can you bundle upgrades to an existing frame when you purchase a recertified machine?
Oh,
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I don't see why not. Yeah,
absolutely,
go for
you can. Good question, and absolutely yes.
Yeah, no, again, it's kind of interesting because it literally, again, like a new machine, so anything you could do with a new machine, you can do with a recertified. So again, like we already talked on, you can do accessories with it, so that includes automation, hopping feet, ruler bases. Maybe it is, hey, I'm going to upgrade and get a new frame. Great, you absolutely can do that with the recertified machines.
Yeah.
Great question.
I like this next question. So Laura, what is the best frame 21X Elite? So great question. So we have our Evolution Elite frame. We have our Evolution hoop frame, which is behind us right here.
Yes, the one we
And then we have our Continuum 2 frame. All right, so the Continuum 2, these are all fantastic frames. Okay, there's a couple.
Honestly, can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. There are a couple things that separate the Evolution frames from the Continuum. A couple like on the metal ratchets, to the thicker rail, to a sturdier frame, a little more nuts and bolts to keep the frame a lot more sturdy. So there's just a couple things that's different from the Continuum. But like Laurel said, you cannot go wrong if you're looking at the Continuum frame as well. All of them are made of steel, very strong. So just your preference. When it comes to the Elites, you have the option of getting a hoop. So behind us, to that question, this is a hoop. So if you don't have space for a rolling rail frame, then you can get this hoop frame and do the same size, exact same size of quilt that you can on a 10, on a 12-foot frame. So if space is a problem for you, then the 21 is perfect for this frame behind us, which is the Evolution hoop. And if space isn't a problem, you can't go wrong with the Continuum 2 or the Evolution elite. So both of them are great. So great question.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know she'd mentioned as well, we will have some machines and frames set up at the Houston show. So absolutely come stop by, take a look at the different frames, because your question is, hey, is there one that's best? Not necessarily. It comes down to some specific things for you and your space and your budget and all of that, right? So again, not necessarily a specific one, but we will be at the Houston show and we'll have an opportunity for you to come check them out. So please do.
Yep. Okay, so Tiffany has a question. What machine does freehand program long arm patterns?
Okay, so I think on this one, it says what machine, does freehand and program long arm patterns. So technically, all of our machines as they come can be used as freehand or free motion, right? Right out of the box, all of them have that capability. And then you also, with almost all of them, excluding the manual, the 16X manual, you can add automation onto it. So that's where, again, all of them by default, you do that free motion with it, but then all of them can have that additional piece added to it. It is just something you do need to add, doesn't typically standard come with it.
Another question we get if you're looking at doing outside of freehand, if automation isn't something you can get now, there are different ways that you can get a creative way on doing patterns, like laser. So it's still free motion quilting, but you're tracing patterns with the laser. So you're not trying to come up with your own pattern out of your mind, trying to create something. So you can trace it with the pattern or with a laser. We also have our pattern perfect set that has like groove boards with a stylus that you can follow in. So there are, and then you have your ruler base and ruler template. So there are other ways you can be creative by getting your pattern if freehand motion isn't something that you're looking to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you can see right there. So that's another great way to get patterns on there.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So can I trade in my current Q'nique machine for a recertified machine? That I think goes back. I mean, yes. So yes, you can. But maybe if you have 16, like I want to go from a 16 to a recertified 21. Absolutely. You can trade in any of your machines to go along. And if you have the 19, you want to go 20. I don't think if you have a 21, you may not want to trade in to get a 16.
Right.
Right. But if you have the 21 Pro or a 21X or a 21R, our first one, any of them, So absolutely you can.
Yeah. So usually it's, you can typically when someone does it, it's because they're looking to either move to a newer machine or a larger machine than they currently have. But yes, absolutely you can take a trade-in on it. I know quite a few people, they're like, I really like my machine, but like, let's say for example, on some of the 16s, there are some newer features in those than compared to if someone has maybe an older 15-inch of ours or whatever, they're like, I'm ready to step in and I want some of what those features are. And you absolutely can with that.
Yep.
So yeah, wonderful. And then I know there was one question that was a little bit ago and I'm not fully sure, but it says, what frame do you have? I think she's maybe talking about what frame we have in the background here. Mark kind of talked on it, but it's the Quilters Evolution hoop frame that we have 3 machines on right now with us. So a little different. But yeah, I don't know, again, kind of last little bit. We didn't want to take up too much of your guys' morning, but thank you all for joining with us here. We are going to have a few different segments throughout today where we'll kind of continue to answer questions on recertified machines. So if you guys had some and we weren't able to get to them, join with us later so we can help then. And again, if not, feel free to put a few of those questions in here now. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Mark. If not, we'll kind of say goodbye, guys, and we'll join with you later.
Yep, we'll join later.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much, and we look forward to talking with you a bit later.
See ya.